Greetings to one and all. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but the seed you plant. This is Kanimoli from second year IT department, Chennai Institute of Technology playing today's host. I'm pleased to see you all in this glorious evening and highly gratified to hail you to today's session, online workshops on mobile development with React. It is exciting to share the Chennai Institute of Technology has teamed up many virtual webinars that embrace new innovation, research, technology, career guidance through Knowledge 4.0 technical webinar series and cracked almost 400 plus webinars and workshops in the CIT being the active member of Computer Society of India, which is the first largest national body representing the computer professional of India. Engages every student with many CSI activities and skills. The future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in a creative way. Now I request Sanjay from first year Artificial Intelligence and Data Science Department to welcome these gleaming eyes.
Hello everyone, this cruise is amazing and I'm glad to connect you all with this journey of Microsoft Student Ambassador Program. This is Sanjay from Artificial Intelligence and Data Science Department first year. And I'm delighted to represent the supreme excellence of my most joy to portray Chennai Institute of Technology and my divine gratitude to our chairman, Shri P. Signature. We would like to show our enormous tribute towards our principal, Dr. A. Ramesh, the now head of the department, Dr. S. Pavitra, and all faculty members of my computer science, engineering, and information technology, and generous support from Mr. Sendil Kumar for paving this way to reach higher triumphs. And I'm delighted to welcome our session head, Mr.Vikre Srinivasan, who is here to hop up with an exclusive workshop. With my heartfelt joy, I welcome you all to today's workshop. I hope today's session will carve great way for learning.
Thank you, Sanjay. Today, for sure, we are going to have an exclusive workshop. We have an enthusiastic student speaker whom you all are aware of now. I would like to invite Akshay from second year IT department to give a brief introduction about speaker.
Happy evening all. This is Akshay from second year IT department, Chennai Institute of Technology. So the time has finally come to introduce you all to the most important person of this evening, Mr. Vikre Srinivasan from third year CSE department. He's an expertise in mobile and web app development testing. He is very much skilled in Node.js, React.js, React Native, Firebase, MongoDB, JavaScript, Bootstrap, and MATLAB. To be a lot more precise, he is a cross-platform and backend developer. And speaking of his achievements, he is the winner of Smart India Hackathon 2020, which is the world's largest hackathon challenge event. He had been selected as one of the finalists in Tamil Nadu Student Innovator of the Year 2020. He has been awarded the Best Innovator of the Year award by Accenture. He had also been selected as one of the finalists in Techie Code Gladiator 2019, Angel Hack 2019, and SRM Mozo Hack 2019. Without further ado, I invite our senior, Mr. Vikre Srinivasan, to take up the session.
Hello. Hey guys, great evening to one and all here. So it's been a great evening now. First of all, I would like to appreciate each and every one of you who have just attempted to learn something new. It's a great thing to always attempt to learn something new, whether you understand or not. Your initiative matters a lot. So they have already given a good introduction about me. So I think I can just start about my presentation now. Okay. Yeah. So all of you guys have registered for the title which you are seeing in my presentation, app development using React Native. Yeah. So I don't know how many of you guys are from biology background or some other backgrounds, but still what I would like to say is coding is not a very different thing or a very what people think about coding is that they always think that it is a very difficult process very difficult to understand the codes and work the code, and the work job life, it will be very difficult, and that's what the people has been thinking for a long time. So it's just a myth, and let's see what's React Native and what are we going to do with React Native. And by end of this session, we will definitely have a mobile app installed in your devices, and yes, you can show your parents and do whatever you want. Okay, so today's agenda is we will see what is React Native, why people are moving to React Native, and why it is making so trend in the modern era, and we will see how to set up React Native in your own system, and you can start building apps from your own device, and just we will start working and making a new app. So okay, what is React Native? So React Native is a framework for building a native apps using JavaScript. So it was created by Facebook in 2015. So if you know JavaScript, basically it means you can build Android and iOS application with a single code base. So no need to learn separate language to build iOS and Android apps. So earlier, back in 2010, in that range, people would learn new languages to build apps for new platforms. For example, for developing an app in iOS, the student or the person have to learn Swift and Objective-C. So this was different. And for Android, you have to learn Java, and you have to use the tool called Android Studio. So these two different platforms were always a barrier for student to decide whether to go with Android or iOS. For considering about iOS, you always need a iOS device, that is Mac, and if you have a Mac, you can run you can test your mobile application in the emulator in the Mac devices itself, or you may even want to buy an iPhone to test your application. So being an iOS developer is difficult because not everyone can afford Mac devices, Mac laptops, something else. So React Native also helps in this way. So with the help of React Native, if you know JavaScript, a single code base, you can build Android and iOS app seamlessly. So that is all about React Native. So one of the um, main advantages of React and React Native is it has a very fast learning curves. You can build cross-platform apps faster than any other. Like we have other cross-platform applications at developing things like Flutter and Xamarin, React Native. So, but comparing these three things, React Native has great developer community. That is, lots and lots of companies are already started to build their own applications in React Native. So I can give you some big examples. The day-to-day usage of yours, that is Facebook, Instagram, and Uber Eats. All these are purely built in React Native. And if you guys might not know this app, Airbnb, which is not so popular in India, but it's very great, a big kind of a business that is being done in the foreign countries. So these are the various advantages of React Native, and there is one more advantage about React Native is that it has a feature of hot reload. So talking about what is hot reload, in Android and iOS, if you are developing something, say you develop an app for a company or something else, you are building for your own hobby project, something else. So if you complete your app, and suppose in case you have made some spelling mistake or made any mistake, and you want to give some update to app, adding a new feature or something else, you have to make the changes in the code, and you have to compile them, and it takes hell lot of time, and it might take sometimes take 15 seconds, sometimes take 2 minutes so even but in React Native, the hot reload features, as soon as you change the code, it automatically changes. I mean, you no need to compile anything. You can see the changes directly in your application. So that is one of the major feature of React Native. So that's it. Maybe we will just get started with things. We're not going too much into the theory and stuff. So I will say what you guys need and what you guys what are the prerequisites to start with React Native. So the first thing you have to install is Node.js, npm, So this is a runtime environment which helps to run the React Native application. So VS Code is nothing but just a code editor which helps you to find the differentiate between the functions, methods, I mean everything. So it just gives you a colors to differentiate the things. So it makes easier for you to view the code. And the Expo app will be used. You have to install the Expo app. You can go to the Play Store and you can just click. You can search for Expo app, and you'll get the first thing in the list, and you can straight away download it. So, with the help of that Expo app, you will be running the application which you're going to build now. And last thing is a good internet connection is a must. And I hope everyone is already having a good internet connection. And setting up React Native project. So firstly, you have to get started with the React Native, there's actually two methods to get started with the React Native, but I will be teaching the most faster and most easier and most suitable way for the beginners so that everyone could catch up and understand in a very fast manner. So the first thing is you have to install Expo globally in your system, and this is Expo init project name in the command line will create the project for you. Okay, there's actually three fundamental things for React and React Native. That is, first thing is components, second is state, and third is props. So building what is components is just a building block of React application instead of developing everything in a single. Suppose in case simplest example for a component is a button. You might need a button in several pages of your application. So instead of writing the same code in all the screens of your application, you can just make it as a component, and you can just import it and use it whenever you want. So that reduces the lines of code which you write. And the props is the thing which is an immutable thing. Like you can pass it to suppose you can see the same button with the same style, but the text is login, and the same button will have a text called sign up. So only the text thing is different. So for that one just small difference, you no need to build entire write again the same codes of line to for this that one button. You can just pass the parameter thing as sign up and login, and you can just see the difference. So React Native reduces lot of time, developing time, like by using components, props, and things. So we will talk about state later, maybe later on the session. Without further ado, we'll just get hands on. So you can straight away go to application, a website documentation. So if you go there, their documentation is very clean, very easy to understand. So if you go right here, there is called environment setup. You can click there and go to setting up development environment. So if you go there, so I was talking about the two types of way you can get started with the React Native. So the first thing will be Expo, and second thing will be React Native CLI. So I will be covering this React Native CLI shortly, but firstly we'll just get started with this thing. So there is a command here. So before that you have to install Node.js. So that you can find. Wait a second. So go to the Google straight away, type Node.js, and you can see the very first website here, and you can just download this LTS version, which is long-term support version. This is kind of beta version, like you will be getting new feature, but it will be in a buggy format. Just download this. Installation process is very simple. It will ask for download or save, and you can just click install next, and it is done. So after installing the node in npm, you can come straight away here, and there's a command here. So these commands are available here. React Native. You just go straight away to just type React Native in Google, and you'll get the first link, and just come in here and go to environment setup and click this thing, and you'll see this command here. Just copy this command and paste this in your terminal. And if you click enter, the process will be starting, and you will get installed in within 5 minutes of maximum time, depending on your system compatibilities. So that's it. So only one single command you can just get started with the thing. So I recommend everyone to download Expo app. So I will be using a emulator here, but you can use your own application to see the changes in your device. So that's what I'm recommending you to use Expo app. So after installing the, so I have already installed Expo in my system, so I'm not running that command. So you can run this command. So after this, Expo init awesome project. So this Expo init is the general command, and init space awesome project will create a project in that name. So if you run this command in your command line, you will get started with a project called awesome project. Or else if you want to change this name, you can just copy it and so if I suppose I want to start a project in my own name, I'll just Expo init Vignesh will create a project. I mean, app project which will initialize the project with my name. So even I have already done that. So I'm not doing that now. Now we will see the another method. I will not completely go through with this method. I will just quickly go through. Now you need Python, Node, and JDK Android Studio. You should have Android Studio installed. So that is another process of installing Android Studio. That is, you can do it with by watching any other YouTube videos. So that is an easy thing. And after doing all those, even it has a similar kind of thing to get started with this. NPX React Native init awesome project will create a new project for you, and you can straight away start working with the React Native. Okay, now let's go into working. So I have my project here, which is, okay, I will change this. So firstly, if you open the application, okay, when you start the project, I mean the project which the name awesome project, you can see the title here. So it will go to the app.js, open it with the VS Code. You can download VS Code from the Google straight away. Just next. You will get installed with the VS Code. Now, if you open the app.js file, you get these 25 lines already written for you. So everyone who is following this will exactly get the same thing as I see now. So if I try, so in order to run this thing here, so this is so you have to type npm run android. So I'll just go through the commands here. So with the help of React Native, as I said earlier, suppose if you want to, you can run your application with iOS, Android, and in the website also. So to run your application in an Android thing, you have to start npm run android. So that will start up the spin up the server like this. New browser will be opening, which shows bundling the JavaScript bundle, and yeah. So this is the exact same app.
Hello?
There is, yeah.
Anna, can you zoom?
No, your voice is not audible. Hello.
Can you zoom the video phone now? Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, your voice is breaking.
Hello?
Zoom your code and
Yes, code, no?
Sorry, your voice is not audible.
please zoom your code.
Your voice is breaking. I can't understand what you're trying to ask. Shall I continue?
Yeah, you can continue. She's just asking you to zoom the code. While showing Visual Studio Code, she's just asking you to zoom it.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. Now is it fine?
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is the exact same code you will be seeing. Okay. So you don't have to type in any code. Your first app is already running now. So this is the app. So this is called as emulator. This is just a mobile device which is virtually present on my computer screen. Okay. So you can so all of you go to Play Store and download Expo app. So you will get the first thing there, and you can go to this. So if you're using Expo app in our own device, just scan the QR code. It will ask to scan the QR code. So click that thing and just take your mobile near this and just scan the QR code and you're done. And you will see the exact same application. Yeah, you will see the exact same application in your mobile. So for better understanding and for those things, I have kept a very big sized emulator. This is actually a foldable tab, 8-inch tab, so that you guys can see the changes that I do here. Okay. So this is the bare minimum code that React Native straight away gives us to us. Okay. So let's first see what are these import statement doing. So import React from React. So those are the things which are required for the functionality of mobile app. So let's not get too deep into it. You will automatically understand what those things are. Okay. Now import style sheet, text, view, image, text input, touchable opacity, alert. So I'll come to these things one by one. So the first thing you can see here is I just come in the store. Okay. So in your mobile application, there's something called view. So view is exactly the same thing what you see in the application. So it's just a view. You can give it you can style it like anything. Like you can give the you can change the background color. You can increase the size. You can set the width, height. So there are lots of property there. So I will just go through what this will do. So first thing, how you can style a single view. So now if I you can see the emulator. So there is nothing because I haven't kept anything in my view. So this view is empty. So now I will try to style it. So in order to style your view, you have to pass in a parameter called style. So don't get too much confused about what is parameter, what is pops, and all those things. So normal syntax for React Native is this open thing, close thing. Again, for all the components which you use, all the elements which you use, this is the template you should be using. So here, if I keep view, here also I should, so there is a start tag and there is end tag. I assume most of you have attended React, web development using React in the previous week session. So I'll just straight away go to this. So this is the syntax for any view, any normal view or any other component. So in case you want to keep text, you want to have some text inside your view, see, you have the exact same implementation here. You have this open bracket. Wait, let me zoom a bit. Okay. See, so I'm opening a text component. I'm closing here with a close thing. So can you understand what is happening here? So whatever thing which you use here, you can see it in the mobile app. So I haven't styled my thing here. So now for a change, let's keep background color as red. So now if I so what is happening here is I have wrapped only my text thing in that view. So only the text will come with that background. So if I give flex of 1. So flex is another thing which you need to understand a bit later. It is not too beginner thing. But I'll just give a small brief what is happening here. So flex 1 will just tell the view component that you have to contain the entire view. Okay, you understand. Firstly, when I wrapped this text component with a view component, I was only able to see a background color for that particular line of code. So if I give a flex of 1, the whole screen is in a different color. So these are the basic concept of React Native. Now let us try to design our own login screen, which you can see almost in every application you use. So we will be building a login screen now. So let me revert these changes. Okay. Now we have this thing. So firstly, I wish to change my background color, which gives me a good feel to the user. So what I will do is you can. So I'm using this flatUIcolors.com. This is nothing but there is uh, colors. They give you colors, some sequence of colors. You can use that in your application. Um Okay, so here I in the style thing. So here styles.stylesheet.create container. So earlier I was directly giving styles in the style parameter, but now you can make everything go in a more managed way. Like okay, so what this thing will do is this will contain your entire screen's styling in that thing. So whenever you want to suppose I was having only a single component in my screen which I demonstrated to you, but in real time, in real life, you have lots and lots of components. You might write some 100 lines, 200 lines, even 1,000 lines of code in a single screen. So in that time, you don't have to write all the stylings in single line of code. So that will be very confusing if you want to change anything in your future. So we have a container which contains the styles for you, which just provides the style wherever you need. So this I will just use styles dot container. So I have a name for this container. So this I have you can keep any name here, like suppose this is the background, because I'm keeping a style for the background here, so you can keep anything in the style there. So if I try to run, you can see the exact same thing. Okay, okay, see exact same thing. So doesn't matter what name you give to the style, the thing is that style contains for you. Okay, now first thing I want to change here is I want to change the background color to make it to look it more appealing. So this background color is a property of styles which sets the background color of that particular view. So this view has a styles dot background. So this is the styles, and inside it I have background. So there background is equal to hashtag of FFF. Don't think it is some secret word, some code word or something. It's just a color code. We have 16 million colors, and to identify each color uniquely and each shades of color uniquely, we have code words. So you can straight away change the color which I copied from the website there. So now if you see you have good, I mean, seemingly good color now than previously. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an icon in the top of my screen or middle of my screen, so that it gives a good feel for the, I mean, it makes the UI better. So what I will do is I will go to Google, and you can go to Google and download any image you want. Like I assume you guys already know how to download image from Google. I'm not going to show that. Okay, I have already took one image. I've already downloaded one image from internet. So this is the icon which I'm going to use. So let me have this. So in order to use images in your application, this view, as of now, we were using view text component. So now we want to bring in image in your application. So what you have to do is, in the import statement, for you, there will be style sheet, view, and text. Only three of the things will be under the open bracket and close bracket. So what you have to do is, at the end, go and place a comma and just type image. So it will show you suggestion, and just keep image there and just copy that, and same syntax. So here what I'm going to do is, so similarly we were writing style with a writing style property. Now what we can do is, there similarly image component has property called source. So what we can do is, we can import the images where it is located from this source property. So don't worry, you don't have to memorize all of these codes into your mind. You already have all of these. It will automatically show suggestions for you whenever you type something. So okay, so before that, I have my image in assets. There will be in the project which you have created in the awesome project folder, there is another folder called assets. So assets, it's basically you store some images, GIFs, and whatever you feel it's asset, and which you are going to use there. So you can, just to keep the structure organized way, there's a folder called assets. You can keep your image there. So my image name is 745946. Okay, I will just use it here. So my image name is little bit weird, but nothing fishy here. So the thing you have to do here is, on the source you have to type require. So require is basically you're requiring that image to get loaded here. So require, open bracket, close bracket, and again you don't have to remember these things. If you just type the open bracket, it will always close your close bracket. I mean, it helps you to code in a better way. And then you have to pass in a string. Okay, now if I go dot slash, it will go to the previous file. So I'm currently in app.js, which is in the root of the application. So if I type dot slash, it goes one step back. I mean, it just goes out of the app.js. So now I can go to the assets folder. So I have said I have kept my file in the assets folder. So dot slash assets, and I have to you have to, okay, most of you will be downloading some games in internet or something. You'll just before downloading it asks you where to store. So I have stored in the assets, and for accessing that thing, you'll just go to the assets. I mean, you go to the gallery and search for that particular image. Same is happening here, but I'm doing it in a code way. So what I will do is, I'm just moving to the assets folder and just getting that image which I downloaded from the internet. So my image name was 745946.png. Okay, let's see what is happening now. Okay, so I have removed the text and I have imported image. So most of the good looking UI which you see in the internet and many apps, because of images, attractive images. So there would be some designers to design all these images. So we won't cover those things, So we have required the image, as simple as that. So now what I feel is, now I feel this image is occupying very large space in my mobile application. So I think I have to reduce the size. So I feel I have to change this. So what I will do is, similarly we had styles for view. We can give style. See, I have just typed st. You got the style here. So you can straight away go and style this component here. Okay. Now what you can do is, I want width. Width is nothing but the width of the image I want to see in the screen. So I can keep the width as 200 maybe, and height as 100 maybe. So let's see. Okay. So I think this is okay now, because you can see what is happening. So the image which I loaded was by default in a large size. So I'm changing it into to a smaller size. Okay. Okay, so I have just changed the size now. So now what I would like to do is, I want to greet the user now, like saying welcome to the program, something else. You want welcome new user, something I would like to do. So what I will do is create another text component. Yeah. So if you type text and close it, it will automatically close for you, and you have to just type in between the opening and the closing of that component. So what I can do is welcome. Okay. So let's see what is happening. So I got the text which I want there, but I want to. So this is looking small. This text is small here. The screen is large, but the text is small. So I want to change the style of the text. So what I'm going to do is, okay, you can give the style property. What I'm going to do is, I want the color of white. So I have a color code for white. The color code for white is hashtag FFF. So you can see the text changes to white, and now I want to change the size of the text. Okay, so you can see the size of the text has become little bit larger. I want to make it even more big. So yeah, so this is fine now. So I have changed the font size of the text. So but I feel this text is a little bit not so visible for the user. So I want to highlight this welcome. The user wants to know I'm greeting him. So what I wish to do is, I'm adding another property, that is font weight. So what I'm going to basically do is, I'm going to make that text bold. So if you give font weight and you open the string there, you can see 100, 200, 300, and last you can see bold there. So all these 100, 200 will just increase the boldness of the font which you use. So I'm going to give font weight as bold. So let's see what is changing here. See, now you can see the font, the font which we are using has become bold. So now half of the thing is done. So now what we want is, here we need a text input where the user can enter his username and password, and this he can click login. So we are going to do that. So we have first two things already done here. Now I'm going to so text was one component, and image was one component. So in order to have to receive input from the user as a text format, we have to use text input component. So so again the same procedure. You can go to the import there, and like after the image you can type text input, and it will automatically show you suggestions, and you can use text input there, and that is also same syntax. Okay, so I have placed one text input here. So what I want here is, I want to style the text input now. So what I will do is, I will keep style here. Okay, what style I can have? I will just first give width. So what I feel is, I want the button size to be more than half of the width of the this thing. what to say, width of the mobile. I mean, okay. So okay. So this is just an implementation to show you what is happening now. So I have kept the text input style of width 400 and height as 100 and background color as red. So this is the thing you see here, and if I click that box, so your keyboard automatically pops in. So what you can do is type something here, like maybe your name. Yeah, so that is text input for you. And so I don't want this to be red here. Let me change the color code here. I will change some styling, and you can keep your own styling based on your wish. So I'm keeping some style here. I have to. Okay. So don't get confused. This is just another way to. So RGBA is red, green, blue. That's the thing. So nothing difference here. So here I have given color code. Here I have given the color in the different format. So because I've already picked some colors here to make it look appealing, to give appealing feel. So you have the text box here, but what I feel is I want this to be a little bit gap from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm introducing another property here, that is margin top. So what this margin top will basically do is bring this box below. I mean, it has a margin on the top. Like you generally use margin in the A4 sheet, like you will not start at the very top of the paper, right? So the same thing happen here. So I want to give some margin top of, say, uh, some 2 inch, suppose example, for example. So this box will get down here. So this box will come down a bit. So I'm going to give a margin top of 10 to see a good difference there. Okay, it's not showing good. Okay, so if I give a margin top of 50, you can see the gap between here, right? So this is the thing that margin works. So I will just introduce you another some properties. So you have margin bottom, margin end, margin horizontal, margin left to right, start, vertical, top. So all these are basically horizontal is will get margin in both left and right. Margin left will keep you margin only at the left, and margin right will keep right. So that's it. So these are some of the property related to margin. So I need just margin top, and I will be introducing again margin bottom also, because I only need that thing here. So margin bottom of 50, because I will be adding another text box here. So I want that to be a little bit down from this thing. So I have kept in that manner. So what I will do is, so I want to inform the user that this is a place where you have to uh, enter your username. So for that, there is another uh, prop you have to pass. That is, okay. So for placeholder, what I'm going to, okay. So in that box, you by default you get a username there. So the user knows he has to type username here. Okay. So that's the thing here. Now I want the same box, but here I want it to be password. So I copy the same code here and use the same code, same styling. I want this same box, same styling, same color, everything to be placed down here. So what I'm going to do now is I have copied it, made another copy, and instead of username, I'm keeping it as So here you can see a large margin gap here. So I will tell you what is happening here. For this particular component at the top, I have given margin top of 50 and margin bottom of 50. So it has margin here. I mean, it will not go beyond this thing. So there's imagine there is a container within this. So it won't get. I mean, it won't come below or top with certain margin. So for the same thing, even there is a 50 margin here for it has this first thing has a margin bottom of 50 and the second thing has margin top of 50. So together when you combine, it has margin of 100. The first two components has margin of 100. So I don't want that. So I am going to remove the margin top property of second component. Let's see what is happening. So you can see the gap has reduced. So that's the thing here. So this is how margin works, and there is another thing called padding. I'll just come to it within 2 minutes. So even I don't feel this is. I want slightly lesser margin here. So this is how it looks now. So this is how it looks now. Username and password. So what I need now is login button is missing now. Before that, before designing the login button, let us go to the padding thing. So I'll show you what is padding now. So if I place my cursor here, the pointer where the typing starts is at the very beginning of the box, but I don't want to start it as very beginning of the box, so I just want to bring it little bit inwards. Okay, so it looks a little bit better and it is more understandable for the user that whether the pointer has actually started or not. So what I'm going to do is you can give padding horizontal. So what padding horizontal will do is it will bring down there is a view, there is a container, and if you give padding, the children its components will not come above, I mean come out of that padding. I hope you can understand. So margin makes the component away from the parent. Padding takes the child away from the child, I mean parent takes the child away from the component. So I will give padding horizontal as 10. So you can see the difference what is happening now. See the cursor has, I mean that password thing has it has moved the content. So the container has made some of its own margin so that the child is not starting at the very starting point. So if I change this to a very large margin, suppose I give it as 50, you can see that it is starting in the way somewhere near the middle. So this is how styling works. There is lots of styling property that you can. So there is no need to memorize all of these things. So you can just refer whenever you want. So it is as easy as it is. So if you type just a 2 letters, it just shows you some suggestions and you can easily catch up with these things. So I'm just giving the padding of 10 and I need the same padding horizontal of 10 here. So even username is starting a little bit away from the box. So now we will go and design. Okay, now before that, here there is password box. Suppose your friend is peeping into your mobile while you are typing password. It is not good to have like this, right? Like you are typing your password. So your friend might know. So you want this to be hidden, like. So what you can do is you can introduce another thing in the password. In the text import there is another parameter called secure text entry. So what does that do is you can straight away give it as true. So if that is true, the text which you enter is hidden and nobody can see it, only you know what you are typing. So this is the basic thing you can see in all of the login screen which you see there. So now I want to design a button. So talking about button, I can straight away go away and import button, and I can use the button here. I mean, you can use the same implementation. So, so this will bring a normal button here, but I don't want that kind of normal basic button. It is very basic button. So in order to have a little bit better UI, I'm going to show you another way which makes it look even more good. So I'm just removing this. So there is something called touchable opacity. So what does that touchable opacity do is, if you're wrapping something inside that touchable opacity, in case suppose you want to wrap a text inside a touchable opacity, when you touch that particular text, you can see a nice animation of the text opacity of the text gets reduced and it comes back again to the active state. So that looks good when you see in your mobile. So I'll just show what it is. So touchable. So just same procedure. You import on the top. Maybe I can zoom. Import it in the top, and same way use it in the bottom. Okay. So touchable opacity. So there is opening of touchable opacity and there is ending of touchable opacity. What I have to do is, in between I'm placing a text, and I would like to show you what is happening now. So in between there is a text and there is login. So if you see the the text is actually getting little bit lighter here and coming back to the normal. So I want to make it even more better. So I'm giving some quick style. We have less time. So the color of the text I'm giving is white because that makes it good. And so this style need not to be written all the time when you design a particular component every time. So here even I can use the same styling which I've used in the previous welcome to the program. I will use the same style which is present above and see what happens now. So I see a little bit bigger icon. So on touch, so what I can do is, on touch of this particular thing, I can make the user log into a different screen, or something else you want to do. You want to show pop-up, or on pressing this button you want to open your camera, something like that. You can do it. So I'll just show you what I can do now with this time now. I will give some background to this button. Okay, or I will be choosing color from the same website. So here we have the width of this. We have the text input as this much width, that the same. So if I give the same width amount, it will be looking good. So all these come in a linear way. So what I will like to do is, I will just give the same width and height as I gave for. Okay. So this is a button now. So you can see the whole component is reducing its opacity, and it makes a good login. That touchable feel. So what I want to do is, this login needs to be in the center. So I will introduce you another property. So that is justify content, and I will keep it as center. So what does justify content do is, you keep something in the view, and if you keep justify content as center, means it is the y-axis. So it just place the component in the center of the y-axis of that particular screen. That particular view. So here initially the login thing was in the uh, top of the button. Now I have kept justify content as center. So it has come to the center. So what I want is, I want to move this. Horizontally to the center position. So what I will do now is, I will put align items and make it a center. So now you can see the difference. So now it is looking good and way better. So this is a touchable button. So you might ask me what we are going to do with this login. So what I will be doing is, I will just show the user that logged in. A simple message to get started with. So there is something called alert in React Native, which just shows you some pop-up message with a button or two, like you can give okay and okay or not, something like that. So straight away go and import alert from the React Native and on press. So this touchable opacity you have here, there is another property called on press for the touchable opacity. So you can give or you can call some functions on happening of a particular event. So if I'm going to touch that button, you can trigger a function. So what I'm going to do is basically display a alert saying that you have logged in.
Anna, now will you finish
Yeah.
this in 2 minutes now? 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's almost time.
So yeah, if I'm clicking this and you can see a simple logged in thing there in the screen. So that's it, and you can learn. So I would recommend you to learn JavaScript. So if you learn JavaScript, you can build a lot more things with React Native, and you can style this however you feel like. So if on pressing this button, I have just made it to log in. So you can do it like making to move the user to the next screen. So thank you. Any doubts you can ask me, any doubts you have.
Vignesh, there are people shooting questions. The first question is how to build APK in Expo.
Okay, I will just present my screen. My screen is yeah. Now what you can do is you can straight away go to the Expo docs. That is it is also a simple thing you can but it takes some of 20 minutes to 30 minutes to build an APK from Expo because it is a JavaScript is just acting as a bridge between the native components, so it takes some time to render the components and make that things work for you. So what you can do is you can go to the docs. You can straight away yeah Expo build. So I think I can zoom it. Okay, yeah. Run like same way which you started the server. Yeah, we have done expo npm run android. Instead of that, run the same command in the project directory saying expo build android, and this will build the android application for you in 20 minutes or so. If you run this command, it will be running it again. A terminal will be shooting, a browser, a new tab will be opening, and in that tab you can see the status of your application building there. And after the completion, you can download the your application from that website.
Okay, so the next question is what is the unit of width you used? Is it pixels?
Uh, yeah, is it? It is pixels only. Like there are different kind of things that you can use for styling the things. Like I want to use percentage. I can even use percentage here, so that it change. It adapts to the view. So here, what I did is I changed the width of the text input to 90 percentage instead of giving it in the pixels format. I gave it in the percentage. So what happened here is uh, it took 90% of the width from the application. Okay, I think you can understand. So here for better understanding, in the second box I will keep the width as maybe I want a width of 70%. So you can see, so the first box is 90% of the device original width, and the second box is 70% of the device width. So you can use pixels if you want, and you can even use percentage. So it's depending on you, but the general default implementation is people go with pixels.
We'll go with the last question. What is APK?
What is APK?
Yeah.
APK is just an app that you install in your mobile. That's it. APK is the application. That's it. Android application that you install in your mobile. That's it.
Okay, guys. Since we don't have enough time, we are wrapping up now. The other questions you guys can ask in personal chats. The WhatsApp number is provided in the webinar poster, so you can send your questions, queries to that number.
Now I invite Swati from second year ECE department to give vote of thanks.
Good evening all, this is Swati from second year Computer Science Department, Chennai Institute of Technology. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable event. First and foremost, my enormous gratitude and respect to our beloved chairman, Sri P. Sriram, for his strong-willed support and guidance. Next, I would like to thank our respected principal, Dr. A. Ramesh, and our department head, Dr. S. Pavitra, and all the faculty members of Computer Science and Engineering and Information Technology for their continued support, encouragement, and guidance. It's an immense pleasure to thank today's speaker, our beloved senior, Mr.S.Vignesh, for this amazing workshop on app development with React Native. I owe a special thanks to our event coordinator, Mr. S. Sindal Kumar, for giving us all this opportunity to exhibit our talent. Then I thank all my team members for their wonderful contribution in making this event a resounding success. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the participants for your time and interest in making this event a huge success. Thank you all. Have a nice